Hey guys, Raj here, and today's video is going to be on a fragrance from the house of Hermes, and this is the latest addition to a line called Terre d'Hermes. You might have heard of it. Definitely one of Hermes's most popular men's lines. A really good fragrance, a fragrance that I used to own in its Pure Parfum version or concentration, and this one is called Eau Intense or Eau Intense, depending on how you want to pronounce it in French or English, and it's called Vetiver. Eau Intense Vetiver. Here's the fragrance. The bottle looks pretty much identical to the original Terre d'Hermes, and I've had a couple of samples, so yeah, I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts on what I think is actually quite a nice addition to the Hermes generally, the brand as a whole, and also to the Terre lineup. So on their website, they were quite vague as to the notes. They were talking about vetiver, obviously, woody notes, mineral notes, vegetal side to this fragrance. I'll tell you exactly what I think. For me, in terms of occasion, it's more of a formal fragrance. Work, very work appropriate if you work in a slightly more conservative environment. Also, I think this would work great on like a bar. If you're going to a night out to a bar, I think this would work quite well. Potentially casual if you wanted to. It's actually quite versatile in terms of occasions, and also I think in terms of seasons, I see no reason why you couldn't wear this year round. I think it blends quite nicely into slightly cooler weather, and spring also kind of feels like a really good time to wear this, but I think all year round. I think it is a very masculine fragrance. I generally link vetiver with men's fragrances. I think they just go really well together. I think it's a note that just performs and smells better on a man. And to be honest, even though I'm not 100% sure, I'm not sure vetiver is like a dominant note in many female targeted fragrances, and that's probably a good reason for that. So in terms of what I get for this fragrance from the opening, yeah, there are links to the or like a resemblance to the original Terre. You've got that slightly synthetic orange sweetness that is there. It's still there, and it's still earthy. It really hasn't been freshened up for me anyway. But it is joined there with a really nicely done vetiver note. It can go two ways, or like interpretation of vetiver can go kind of two ways for me. You can either have really smoky and really oily vetiver, or you can have it really cleaned up like Tom Ford's Grey Vetiver, where it's almost not almost a two strip back, you know. This one it strikes a nice balance between that slightly smokiness, the earthiness, but a nice zingy freshness as well. Very masculine, very like fresh out the shower after you've been doing some like sport activity or something like that, and you're just putting on a suit. It feels very smart, you know, and I kind of feel like it would suit that kind of look, or that vibe you're going with. Very professional. It's not sweet fragrance. It's not cloying or synthetic, or it is fresh, but it also doesn't have that annoying generic freshness that you might find in a Eau Sauvage, or maybe also in a Cool Water. It's done in a very grown-up kind of way. I think this is a very manly fragrance, as I said, but it doesn't smell like aged, or you're not going to smell old, you know. I think it's quite potentially, you know, Hermes, I see it as a kind of an aspirational brand because of the prices up there, and they create this image of being a luxury brand. I think this could be one of those where a lot of people might buy it and save it for slightly special occasions, or going out, or use it in a reserved way. Performance, I actually just completely realized I forgot to mention performance. Normally I do that at the beginning. Performance was decent on my skin, and this is probably the area where it lets itself down. It's a fairly basic fragrance in terms of composition. What I like, but it doesn't last for a huge amount of time. I probably got around 5 hours maybe. It really was one of those where I just wanted it to go on for a couple more hours. If it didn't last the whole day, you know, I wouldn't find that an issue. I just wanted it to have a bit more presence, you know, after this slightly fresh, sweet, orangey note, and then you get the smooth side of the vetiver, but also the slightly smoky, grassier side, where there's a nice sort of balance there. Then what's next after that? You know, it didn't dip into anything, which is okay, but at least if it doesn't develop into anything, I would want these notes still to be there and like to be noticeable, but it just wasn't the case. And maybe it's one of those that you might have to spray again. For a lot of people, this is going to be a little bit pricey though, to be spraying it constantly, but it's up to you. It's up to you to decide. Overall, I think this is a fragrance that I would recommend, but it's probably worth checking out a few other options from Lalique, like Encre Noir Sport. You know, if you want something a slightly more on the more affordable side, although it is different. Tom Ford's Grey Vetiver kind of does the same job, and probably is. You could probably get better deals on that Grey Vetiver fragrance than this, because this is fairly new. But I think it's well worth checking out. I really enjoyed wearing the 2 samples that I have. They came in 2 ml sizes, and I picked up my samples from John Lewis, a department store here in the UK. I've had this sample actually, or these 2 samples, for a while, but you know, consistency when it comes to videos is difficult for me. I've always had that issue. But yeah, worth checking out. I'm going to give this a rating of 7.5 out of 10. A nice addition to a really great brand when it comes to just actually everything, but especially fragrances. I'm definitely looking to add a few more Hermes fragrances to my collection. Yeah. So guys, let me know your thoughts on this one. Have you tried it? Do you like it? Dislike it? Is it okay? Where does it rank amongst other Hermes fragrances? Check out my Instagram page, and yeah, whatever you have to say, say it. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.